All right. So, what is your name? It doesn't matter who starts first, and where were you born and raised?
Oh, I gotta go first. My name is Damon Armstrong. It's I actually just changed it recently to Damon Covington, a couple, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I took my father's last name. I'm from Muskegon Heights, Michigan.
My name is Justin Burris. I'm from Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia. I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia, but I was raised in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. That's where my family's from. And then, yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to start with you, Damon, since you are from Muskegon. What was Muskegon like in your youth and growing up in Muskegon and being from Muskegon?
Well, again, Muskegon Heights and Muskegon, they wasn't the same, but Muskegon Heights for me, where I was born and raised, the community was amazing when I was a kid growing up. Even Michigan area for people, map. We used to come here and play basketball and eat lunch and dinner on the other side of the building, not really knowing that I was poor, and that's why I was getting the support that I was getting, because back then it was always somebody in the yard, meaning older person. It was always somebody on the block or somebody that would get you to do the right thing. So for me, my childhood in Muskegon Heights was unbelievable, but I'm a 70s baby. So, I guess it's just the difference in the eras, but it was amazing for me.
And that's so refreshing to hear, especially that you're familiar with this building that lets you know that it's really community oriented in Muskegon Heights. So how did you two meet?
We met, and I was in high school. He came in as the culinary instructor for the vocational school, Norfolk Technical Center in Norfolk, Virginia. We met there, and I think my first couple weeks there, I was a jokester. I like to play around, stuff like that. And it was something about us that kind of put us together. I think one day, at one incident I can remember, I was playing on my boy right now, and I told him, "Hey man, I'm about to put a hot potato on the back of your neck," because I just put it out the water. We was doing a little playing around. And I guess he didn't believe me, so I actually put the boiling hot potato on the back of his neck, and he slammed his head on top of the desk. And then after that, she was like, "Come on, let me talk to you real quick." And then that was the first sit down. I was like, "Listen, man, either you're gonna take it serious or you're gonna get out." And ever since then, I started taking it serious.
So you have a history in mentorship.
That just kind of happened. I was a teacher at the time, and again, like Justin said, we met, and I have tons of students everywhere. But again, I think it was what I got in the community. We had giants. The guys that play basketball, guys that play football. I knew the mayor personally when I grew up as a kid here. Bishop Bishop Willie Burrell, that was running MAP at the time when I was a kid. He gave me my identity as a young man. For my whole life, I was going as Armstrong, and he called me Armstrong Covington because my father's last name was Covington. So he reminded me as a kid who I was, even when I didn't understand it. You know what I mean? So that was the kind of community I grew up in. So
it's a lot of good people from this community.
Oh, man.
I'm glad that we have somebody from this community and got to experience this community come out and say,
yeah. Don't believe it.
So, how did you both get into cooking?
Well, for me, it was my grandma. My grandma was the anchor of my family, and she fed the community. That was her thing. When things would go bad, when the heat would get turned off or the electric would go off or they would cut off the power or the gas, we'd go outside and grill. And she would light candles at night, but we grilled during the day. So it was really making lemonade, and food was the way. I just wanted to get paid for it. She gave it away. I wanted to make money off of it. And so I'm fortunate where I can make money off of it and still do what I love to do.
Me, same thing. Family, coming from the islands, that's all we do is cook. Cook good food, curry gold and jerk chicken and stewed fish and rice and peas, and that's where we come from. Beef patties, all that. We kind of come from that. So watching my mother cook, and she made huge entree dishes out of stuff I wouldn't even believe she could put it together with, And just coming up and just watching small shows like Emeril Lagasse. The guy used to do boom, bang, bang every time he cooked stuff. Had music playing in the background. It made it look so exciting. I wanted to do it, I just loved it.
Wow. So, you both obviously went to culinary school. So after you graduated from culinary school, how did you go about starting your career?
For me, graduating culinary school, I had already cooked prior in the Navy. So I had traveled and cooked food a little bit. Went to culinary school, and then I took an executive chef job right out of right out of college, for a Greek family, being a black boy from Muskegon Heights. Wrong deal. So culturally, I wasn't prepared. Food is culture. So you got to understand why people cook the way they do, what kind of ingredients that they use. That culture was so removed from me. I knew Southern. So needless to say, I failed at it. So I failed right out of college, ran because I got my butt kicked to the East Coast, and stopped running and found my voice. I read a book called High on the Hog, and it was about soul food, Southern cuisine. And so the meaning behind the book was, for years, the slave master had the servant cleaning these pigs up, and he would give him the scraps from the pigs as his payment. And so finally in the third year, he came to him and he was like, look, man, clean the hogs and I'm going to give you the scrap for payment. And he was like, boss, I don't need the scraps anymore. I saved the scraps that you gave me, made hog cheese, made sausage, and now I bought my own pigs. I'm high off the hog. And so for me, I found my voice as a chef during that time. And so now we're kind of a little bit high off the hog.
What about you?
Me, coming out of school, I was hot. I was like, just like Chef said, I was ready to go. Had a couple jobs that of course, Chef put me onto, and he helped me out, really guided my career.
Talk about the jobs. Don't minimize them.
Well, I mean, I did, I think coming out, we did a couple of them. We did Cheswick Hall. Keswick Hall. So that was my externship site. In college, we had to do like an internship and whatever. Like that was my little externship. Went to different restaurants.
Tell him about the space though. What kind of chef he was?
Well, yeah, the chef. He was a James Beard Award winner. That's a very prestigious chef, chefing kind of award. Really up there. Chef Craig Hartman. I think he's in Alexandria right now with the Barbecue Exchange. But man, he used to come in 5 o'clock, leave at 7 o'clock. I think he was making like $95,000 a year. He was the guy. He was cool. He was calm. But one day in the actual externship site, I was really getting amped up. I was trying to get some stuff out, and I messed around and I yelled at him. I was like, "Hey, chef, come on, we don't have the time to play around. Let's go, chef." And I realized, I was like, "What did you do?" Talk to the chef. He's like, "I'm sorry, chef." He's like, "Don't forget me whenever you're the chef of the year, man." I was like, "I'm sorry, chef." He's like, Don't worry about it." So I mean, I was coming out hot. I knew everything. I was the green guy. But life had its toes to kind of break you down and say, you know what, you still have a lot to learn. Schooling is not all of it. You got to go experience. You got to go through it. You know, got to go through the trenches. And it was a very good experience. School. But,
Life lessons in that.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that happened in your life that created a challenge or gave you a drive for this to do better?
Well, for me, I had experienced death on levels that people close to me dying. Like I lost my sister my senior year in high school. My sister was murdered. My brother drowned in a fluke swimming accident. I lost my dad. I lost my uncle. And so this period of time where you're losing all these people and your life is falling apart, I could have went either way. You know, I could have used it to allow me to do negative. And I'm not perfect. I've done a lot of stuff, you know. But food for me was that anchor that everything was going to be okay. You know what I mean? And I found a lot of lifelong answers to why people come and go. I have a deeper understanding of seasons. Like, you know, you can only cook this during this season when it's at its peak. Well, life, you go through ups and downs and highs and lows. And in food, if you just cook like you're used to cooking and just cooking for the people, of course your family's going to tell you that it tastes great because it's free. But when you step outside your boundaries and you cook for other people, then that's when food becomes a whole... People don't see color when you cook in food. They see food.
See flavors.
So it don't matter where you come from. Food can... I've been everywhere, literally. And I wasn't expected to go anywhere. People used to tell me, you're just like your daddy. Well, man, I know he's happy now. You know? I know I've made my daddy proud, so...
Me, I've been through those situations that, from experience and talking to Chef and me being on a kind of a good wavelength for 12 plus years now, all the things that he's been through, he's kind of pulled me in. I have empathy for him. But I've been through depression almost all my life, you know. Coming up, growing up, trying to mentally get yourself out of that rut. And it's kind of hard. It's as a society, as in general, as people, we suffer from depression at an alarming rate. And people, I guess, people don't really realize that, man. If I keep telling people I'm fine, everything's good, it's never works out like that. You know, I'm telling from experience that telling people that you're fine, telling people you're okay, and it's gonna get better. That's cool, but you have to be proactive. You have to force your mind to change. You have to force yourself. Stop the minute you start getting those negative thoughts that, oh, nobody loves me. Oh, look at that couple over there. You have to stop thinking like that. You have to start putting yourself in a better mind state, because God has a lot to offer for you, and you don't even realize it, because we don't know. We fear the unknown. So just get out of that. Shake those shackles off. And like from my big brother told me, control what you can. If you can't control how people perceive things, you can't control certain things. You can't control how what kind of sun we or what weather we have. You can't control it. So don't pressure yourself on it. Control what you can. And that's it. That's it.
All right, that was. Y'all keep coming with the powerful.
We've done it. We've done it. Yeah.
So, just could you tell us a little bit about your background? Because I know you've worked with a lot of different people. So, what was it like to work in the same environment in kitchens as world-renowned chefs? And
well, when I first met my first chef encounter, where I really met like the chef that I thought I was really crazy about. You have chef crushes in our industry, you know, whether it's male or female. You're just like, I love this guy. I love this. So Bobby Flay for me, he was like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet Bobby Flay and da 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 da. And so I worked at Williams-Sonoma, and I was the lead chef, and I would teach cooking classes. And so his cookbook came up for me to do a review on, where clients come in and I teach you out of Bobby Flay cookbook. So I go into work and they say, well, chef, at 11 o'clock, Bobby Flay's going to call you. And I said, call who? He's going to call me. Bobby Flay going to call me. On what phone? On your phone. And so when he called me, I'm like, yes, chef. And yes, chef. And he's like, stop with the chef crap. It's all good, chef. We're on the same plane. He said, take my recipes and make them yours. And that's when I realized that they're just as human as we are. But it was amazing that he trusted me, a guy that, it's Bobby Flay, to interpret what he was doing in the book. So that was one of my, I think, life-changing moments in the industry.
My life-changing moment was I worked at a couple different restaurants. Some really good, some that needed a little work, a little shine to them, but it's all right. But like I said, working with in Keswick Halls, and it kind of came kind of a spur of the moment, because you only have a certain amount of time to pick your sites, your internship sites, and that was kind of the last minute kind of thing. So I automatically didn't think I was going to get a good site, and I learned so many different things there, and I learned the idea how to talk to people, how to manage people, how to just learn from different situations and things like that, and how to become a better chef from all the good chefs that I've worked with. Now, of course, you still, with that being said, you still have bad chefs. Not saying they're bad in general, but some of the things and the methods that they learn and they teach and that they were taught may have not been the best. But you still learn things on how not to do something, how not to talk to people, how not to do that kind of stuff. So, it's all about learning, being open-minded, and in any and everywhere you go, you have to learn. You know, so
You never stop learning. You never stop researching. And I think, again, food is that common denominator. For instance, a chef that I work with, Sonja Flynn, she's a James Beard awarded chef. She's actually running for city council for a lead position in Pittsburgh, in East Liberty. They took this community and they revamped it, regentrified it. It was a place where people were getting murdered in the projects back in the day, and now it's $1 million condos. That's the power of food. But being with a female lead in the kitchen is different from a male. It's no ego. It's okay if you don't know. And she would just train me like my mom, like, no, chef, this is the way you do it, chef. And I was throwing pizzas. I've never made pizza before in my life. We ate Scribs. But for me to be making my pizza dough and throwing hand-tossed pizzas, I did 125 my first night there working. And I had never thrown pizza before. So, again, it breaks down all barriers. It doesn't matter what color you are. Sorry, you can't use that as an excuse. You got to work your butt off. And they're not going to give you anything. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. But at the end of the day, passion overrides everything, I think.
Sounds like cooking is one of those being a professional chef is like one of those things where it doesn't really matter what background or where you come from, that you can just evolve and you can work hard.
Yeah, if you put the work in. Yeah, and it's going to be doors. I mean, not all doors are going to open. You're going to have to be educated, so you're going to have to go to school for culinary. You just have to. And you're going to have hands-on experience. So while you're going to school, I recommend you work for somebody. Stop feeding your family, asking family and friends, are your food good? They're friendly. It's free. Get somebody else's opinion and then learn why. For instance, for the last 6 months, I've been competing all throughout the country as a professional chef. I had some situations that went down with my business, and my lead chef, and chefs have different chefs that they look to, he said, Chef, why don't you start competing through the American Culinary Federation, ACF? And I was like, it ain't for me, it's all white boys. That's what I told him, because again, it's represented by all white people. I don't see a whole lot of black people. He said, just do it anyway. And once I did it, it changed my life. 5 competitions, 5 medals. I have 3 silver, 2 bronze. I missed the goal by 0.5. So I'm going back to get the goal. But I mean, I learned so much as a chef, and my own mind told me that it wasn't for me. And I met chefs that don't look like me that loved me, that wanted to see me get better, that wanted to see me grow as a man. And I did that on limited thinking for the last 44 years of my life for no reason. Imagine if I would have said ACF was for me when I was 22. But you don't doubt it. But do you understand what I'm saying? So it's endless opportunities with that. So I'm proud of that. That's one of probably the proudest moments. Some of the oldest palates in the U.S. that's won Olympic gold medals told me that my food was good. I really think I'm good now. I don't care who don't like it, baby. He said it. So he's like, do you want anything from us doing the judging? I said, no. Can I get a picture? He said, what if you don't win? I said, I've already won. Yeah. For you to tell, I played, when Isaiah contacted me about this interview and I did research on this place, I said, God, I grew up in that building. So for everything to come full circle, and this man from overseas to tell me my food is great, I really don't care what nobody thinks.
So all this, when we were talking about all the obstacles and things that you had to face and being from this community and just knowing this community, and I'll ask both of you, what advice do you have for youth that are searching for their purpose and wanting to know how they can fit in and where they can fit in? Do you have any advice for them?
Share your dreams with someone that can help you fulfill your dreams. I think you should start with your dreams on your knees every day, because I think it's a bigger being than us that's out there that empowers us to find our passion lane. Once you find that passion lane, pain is going to come. Because without pain, you'll never understand purpose. All hell is going to break loose when you figure out what you need to do with your life. The people that you started with will not finish with you, and it will be lonely. It's going to be lonely because it's different. I mean, I'm cooking food now that my grandma told me, don't be coming in here cooking like them white folks, until I made her mastacholi. And she's like, you going to make that noodle stuff for me? I said, I thought you didn't want me cooking like them white folks. So you're going to have that from that end. I cook steaks medium rare to rare. I've never cooked a steak well done in my career. So you're going to have that where people say, oh, that's blood. No. That's a method. It can be cooked that way. And people pay a lot of money for it to be cooked that way. So I mean, those things will be a culture shock. And then it's going to be racism and bigotry, because that's what exists, especially in this area, and we have to be conscious of that. But you can overcome that. That's not consistent. That's a feeling. You can beat that. Yeah.
Don't give them your energy.
At all. And they're not better than you. Ever will be. Because all we could ever do was cook. Yeah. Check any history book. All we did was cook. So the base of their palate belongs to me. And my ancestors, and so we're good at that. That's our lane.
Saying this, just not even considering, not even talking about cooking, like that can help a lot of kids from this community.
Yeah, you can be
what you guys just said, because somebody needs to hear that.